In 2009, Naughty Dog released one of the biggest games of this generation. Uncharted 2 redefined the adventure genre and skyrocketed the franchise to unfathomable heights. Here we are 2 years later, and the long-awaited sequel to one of the best games of 2009 is here. Can Uncharted 3 outdo its predecessor, or is Drake deceiving himself?
Seriously? Don't flatter yourself.
The story in Uncharted 3, unlike Uncharted 2, focuses more on the relationship between Drake and Sullivan, showing the strong relationship they have between each other, and how far one would go for the other. The plot itself is quite entertaining, the acting is superb, the dialogue is funny, and you will find yourself aching to see the next cutscene. As a matter of fact, this is the only game where you will never get sick of watching cinematic scenes. Every time the game cuts to a cutscene, you will feel a sense of delight in putting the controller down and watching the story unravel before you.
You got your pride all tangled up in this thing. It's making you reckless. I taught you better than that.
With that said, the game's plot is not perfect. The story feels a bit rushed at times, and it definitely seems like it received some major cuts in development. It takes you all over the place and it never focuses in one specific part at a time. Some parts feels like fillers, while others open a subplot and never finishes said plot. It's very hard to explain without spoiling the game for you, but as far as story execution goes, it could have been a lot better.
We cut to the goddamn chase, please.
Yeah, we really need to keep moving.
Gameplay-wise, Uncharted 3 doesn't stray too far from its predecessor. The game is still very linear and very scripted, and you are still the luckiest, most talented man in the world when it comes to climbing and falling in the right places. The game still features incredible action-filled moments that manage to get your heart racing and adrenaline pumping every time. Uncharted 3 can be very nerve-wracking, however. The difficulty in this game is insane at times. And there will be points where you will be overwhelmed with enemies attempting to kill you, as there will be literally enemies in a 360-degree radius attempting to kill you at once. They will shower you with grenades and pretty much kill you over and over again. You will find yourself cursing at this game for being absolutely nefarious with its difficulty. To be fair, the game at least has a plethora of checkpoints to make the experience less frustrating, but you will die a lot in this game. Multiplayer is an often overlooked feature in the Uncharted games, since the single player is so mind-blowing. But truth be told, the multiplayer is incredibly well executed as well as entertaining to play. The multiplayer maps are incredibly well designed as well as mind-blowing. One stage will have you racing after a moving plane while you are in the back of a pickup truck, while another level has a desert storm which can completely change the pacing of the game. On top of having the regular team deathmatch, free-for-all, and objective-based gameplay, you also have some co-op modes. Co-op modes can vary anywhere from a horde-like mode where you must survive waves of enemies to a co-op adventure mode that can be played online or split screen. The adventure mode has separate missions that are unrelated to the story but are still very fun to play through. And the arena mode has you and two buddies attempting to survive a series of waves while having a rotating objective that changes between rounds. Unlike games like Bioshock 2 and Dead Space 2 that only has multiplayer to say they have it, Uncharted 3 has incredibly well executed multiplayer that is fun to play and will keep this game on your PS3 for quite a while longer than you expected. Ultimately, Uncharted 3 is not as good as Uncharted 2. The game plays safe and builds on top of what his predecessor built, but it's nowhere near as mind-blowing. Does that mean that Uncharted 3 is bad? Absolutely not. The game is fantastic, and is still an incredible game that any fan of the series will enjoy. However, it just doesn't top what Uncharted 2 did. The bar that game set was incredibly high, and it would be very hard to top that bar. If you enjoyed the series so far, this is an easy buy for you.
Enjoying yourself, pal?
Oh yeah, you're a comedian.